I would love to be like go up to the top of a mountain and find some homely mountain chick and just build a cabin and eat deer.
George wanted to use mostly natural light. So the days were luckily like short and sweet, because we only had that window.
The imagining and the sounds and things like that, the one little piece of it coming through a wall or something is scarier for me personally.
There's no such thing as more than my son.
I feel like after COVID, post-apocalyptic stories hit a little harder. How well
Yeah.
do you think that you both would do in the world of Elevation?
Oh,
You know what? I would do really well. I'm an outdoors kind of guy. I hunt, I fish. I like to be left alone. I would love to be like go up to the top of a mountain and find some homely mountain chick and just build a cabin and eat deer
did you
and
say
fish.
did you say homely mountain chick?
Yeah, chick wearing flannel and like Doc Martens and
So Maddie, in the film.
Yes, a 40-year-old Maddie, yes.
That's you. I actually see that for you very much. I, on the other hand, would struggle, I think. I do love the outdoors, and I can be that. But I would miss my coffee shop, my, moody New York theater. I don't know. Like I definitely feel the need to interact with humans and not just animals. And
See, I crushed COVID. I thrived at COVID.
It doesn't surprise me. The least surprising thing I've heard.
You've both been in some major productions that require a lot of green screen, and I know that can be difficult on actors. What was it like to be able to film this on location in Colorado?
That was really beautiful.
Yeah.
We really, really enjoyed having like the actual mountains, and I mean, obviously we didn't have the creature. That was the hardest part, I would say.
But it was nice. Like when we first got there, we would go hiking. George made us do altitude acclimation, whatever the hell that was. It was something he read up and made up. But we would go hiking every day. We're just walking around the city and stuff like that. So it was cool. I really enjoyed the beauty of Colorado.
I did too, yeah.
It's a gem.
Well, as someone who grew up, well, not grew up, I was there for 7 years. I know how elevation sickness can really, really take you out. And
Yeah.
Anthony, your character is great, but your conditioning must have been unreal for the scene where you have to scale the mountain while being chased, because you're also carrying heavy gear during it. Can you talk
Right.
about pulling that off?
It was a lot, and the funny thing was, you have to worry about turning an ankle, you have to worry about falling on a rock and bludgeoning yourself, but then at the same time, you have to act afraid and keep in mind that there's something chasing you. So George and the stunt team were really good with breaking it up into segments where I could just do bursts of running instead of having to run the whole 100-yard gauntlet from the bottom. But I'll tell you what, the one scene where I had to kick out of the truck and run up that hill, that was a 100-yard dash.
Wow.
Up a hill, being chased by a drone and the drone coming. It was that one day got me. Because we kept
I
doing
was
it.
so impressed with how much he was like, I had to really push to keep up. And after 3 kids, running like that, like it just doesn't go very well, if you know what I mean.
We got it.
They can't be killed, but no one's had a chance to study them. You study something long enough, you can figure out how to kill it.
I feel like after COVID, post-apocalyptic stories hit a little harder. How well do you think that you would do in the world of Elevation?
I would die so fast, Tyler. I would be dead so fast.
Day one.
Baby, but I would stay. I would stay on the mountain.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm right there with you.
Absolutely.
So we get a little bit of Katie's backstory in the film, but we're not given the full story. It even seems that she's into Will. What do you think were Katie's motivations?
Given that backstory, we can infer that Katie has felt pretty trapped in her life in whether it be that relationship or the place that she's from, or I think that she's a person that has felt quite trapped before. And so being stuck in one place, though it's safe, is really painful for her and something that she's fought hard in the past to get out of. So I think she's seeking a personal freedom and she wants more for herself.
Yeah.
She's also like so into Will.
Yeah, I didn't even actually catch the line that that Nina says to her of like being into Will, clearly wanting him. Or I was like, oh, okay, so it's not just inferred; it's like a full
Yeah,
on thing
yeah,
that's happening.
she's into it.
Yeah. Well, and I know how cold that it can get in the Colorado mountains. So, what was it like to film on location there?
Oh my God, it was beautiful. I loved filming there. And George wanted to use mostly natural light. So the days were, I mean, luckily, like short and sweet, because we only had that window. But it was also exhausting because we were at quite a high elevation and we had to train for it for like a week beforehand just so that we'd be able to breathe, let alone run. But it was mostly just fun.
Well, I lived out there for many years, and I know that the high altitude can make things very difficult, even the simplest of things. What
Yeah.
were some of those physical challenges when filming like an action scene?
I mean, it's interesting because we had to have the oxygen cans. I mean, having lived in Colorado, you're probably familiar.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to have those on hand at all times because you can feel it. And you're like, oh God, am I not going to be able to breathe when you get done with a running scene? And you have to do it over and over and over again for hours all day.
Yeah.
It was definitely more challenging than other action heavy projects I've had to
Did you
shoot.
end up experiencing elevation sickness?
Luckily, no, but I think that that's just because I'm built different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but like Anthony for sure, he's a baby.
I know they always say Captain America can't take that.
Can't take it.
So what was your favorite location in Colorado to film at?
I think the town at the top of the mountain because it was just like this weird little neighborhood at the top of a mountain. Like none of that was built. That was just there.
Yeah.
And it was so cool. It was like very like hippie and earthy and I don't know. I loved it up there.
World building is always so much fun, especially in a movie like this. What was one element of your post-apocalyptic world that you knew that you needed to have for elevation?
For me, it's actually the notion of it, where they start out being a kind of a Garden of Eden. So even though the world is destroyed, you meet them, they're safe above 8,000 feet. And like, how do I make that feel like you could really survive up there, show the incredible beauty of it and yet the simplicity of it? And so that meant searching around for a real place that we could use as our refuge, and ideally having that place be up above 8,000 feet, which it is. And it just makes everything flow from it, that makes everything feel more realistic.
Well, and the mountains are a very different location than we're used to in these kinds of stories. And I
Yeah.
appreciated how much was shot on location. What kind
Yeah.
of challenges did you find shooting in Colorado?
A lot. uh, uh, we started in the fall, and we started at 11,500 feet. So snow was a constant threat. We did have 3 days that were basically killed by snow. Even just moving around, like, we stayed in Boulder and we would drive an hour or something to the set in the mountains, various sets in the mountains. So logistically significant challenges. And then, Colorado's hasn't had a film shot there, like a major film shot there, for a lot of years. So it's not like going to Atlanta and you're just like, well, I'll just pick up our crew and, the trucks and whatever. You have to figure out how to bring everything in.
Yeah.
It's like trying to shoot in Alaska or something. They want to change that, and hopefully we'll be a part of that. They're very serious about a tax credit that they just put in and so forth. But we were definitely pioneers in that regard.
Well, and I know that you had to be really selective with what you showed of the monsters and get pretty creative. Can you talk about the decision behind when to show it and when to just hint at it?
Well, I think, Jaws is still one of my favorite movies, right? And the original, conception of Jaws was that they were going to show the shark much more than they did. The shark didn't work. It was a mechanical shark, didn't work. And so in dealing with that problem, they were like, well, we'll just hide it, and do it more suspense. I just think we're so inundated with images and videos and CGI creatures and so forth today that the imagining and the sounds and things like that, the one little piece of it coming through a wall or something is scarier for me personally than like, here's this thing, which of course has to be computer generated because it's not a real thing,
Yeah.